You are not seeing the world in real time. You never have. And if this is true, everything you believe about existence might be fundamentally wrong. I'm Leonard Susskind, and after 5 decades of working with the deepest theories in physics, I need to tell you something that will disturb you. The reality you experience every single day, the solid ground beneath your feet, the present moment you think you're living in, the consciousness you believe defines you, none of it exists the way you think it does. Most people assume reality is obvious. You open your eyes, you see the world. You touch something, it's solid. You experience thoughts, therefore you exist. Simple, right? But physics has discovered something terrifying about the nature of reality. Something that textbooks don't tell you because it's too unsettling, too paradigm-shattering for most people to handle. What we call reality is actually a collection of approximations, illusions, emergent phenomena that have almost nothing to do with what's actually happening at the fundamental level. Let me start with something that should keep you awake tonight. Right now, as you watch this, you think you're experiencing the present moment. Now is real, that it's the thin slice of time where everything happens. But according to Einstein's relativity, which has been confirmed by thousands of experiments, there is no universal now. The present moment is an illusion. Different observers moving at different speeds have completely different definitions of what's happening right now across the universe. Here's what this means. If you have a friend on a spaceship traveling at high speed toward the Andromeda galaxy, now sliced through the universe includes events in Andromeda that you would call either 800 years in the past or 800 years in the future, depending on whether they're moving toward or away from it. They could literally turn around, change their velocity, shift their present moment in Andromeda by 600 years, just by changing direction. They didn't affect anything in Andromeda. They just changed which slice of space-time they consider to be now. This means the past still exists. Your childhood self is sitting there right now, playing with toys, completely real, just located at different space-time coordinates. Your grandmother, everyone you've ever lost, they exist right now at their space-time locations. Death doesn't erase people from reality, just ends their forward progression through time. The block universe, as physicists call it, contains everything that has ever happened and everything that will ever happen, all existing simultaneously in a 4-dimensional structure. The illusion of time is just the beginning. Let's talk about the illusion of matter. You think the chair you're sitting on is solid, made of real stuff. But that chair is 99.9999% empty space. The atoms that compose it are mostly vacuum, electrons orbiting around incredibly small nuclei. And those electrons, they're not even particles in the way you think. They're probability waves, quantum fields that only collapse into definite positions when observed. At the fundamental level, there are no particles at all. Everything you think of as solid matter is actually quantum fields vibrating in empty space. The electron field, the quark fields, the photon field, these fields exist everywhere, filling all of space-time. And what we call particles are just localized excitations in these fields, like waves on an ocean. You are not made of matter. You are made of excitations in quantum fields, temporary patterns of energy that somehow give rise to the illusion of a solid, continuous self. This brings us to perhaps the most disturbing illusion of all, your consciousness. You experience a unified, continuous stream of consciousness. You feel like there's a you inside your head observing the world, making decisions, experiencing thoughts and emotions. But neuroscience is revealing that this unified self is completely fabricated by your brain. Your brain is constantly creating the illusion of a continuous narrator, a single you, that experiences everything. But there is no central observer, no little person inside your head watching your thoughts. Consciousness appears to be an emergent property of incredibly complex neural networks, billions of neurons firing in patterns that somehow give rise to the feeling of being a unified observer. The you that thinks it's reading this sentence doesn't exist as a fundamental entity. It's a story your brain tells itself. Different parts of your brain process different aspects of reality, visual, auditory, emotional, logical, and your prefrontal cortex weaves these separate streams into a coherent narrative that feels like unified experience. But this integration happens after the fact. By the time you're conscious of a decision, your brain has already started implementing it. Free will, the sense that you're choosing your actions, appears to be another illusion created by your brain's narrative system. Now let's zoom out to the cosmic scale, because the illusions get even more profound. You think the universe is made of matter and energy, galaxies and stars and planets. But visible matter, everything we can see and touch, comprises less than 5% of the universe. The rest is dark matter and dark energy, mysterious substances that we can't detect directly, but that dominate the cosmic landscape. The universe you think you inhabit is actually a tiny fraction of what's really out there. And even that tiny fraction might not be fundamental. Physicists now believe our three-dimensional reality is actually a holographic projection of information encoded on a two-dimensional surface at the boundary of space. The holographic principle suggests that everything you experience is three-dimensional volume, depth, solid objects. All of it is actually information stored on a distant two-dimensional screen. Think about that. Your entire experience, reality, your body, your thoughts, every object you've ever seen might be a holographic projection. Like watching a 3D movie, the depth you see is created by information stored on a flat screen. Except in this case, the screen is at the edge of the universe, and the 3D movie is your entire existence. But there's something even more fundamental lurking beneath all these illusions. Information. At the deepest level, reality appears to be made of information, not matter or energy. Every quantum system can be described in terms of the information it contains, and all physical processes can be understood as information processing. When a black hole evaporates through Hawking radiation, the information that fell into it doesn't disappear, it gets encoded in the radiation. When particles interact, they exchange information. When you observe a quantum system, information flows from the system to you. The universe might literally be a vast information processing system, a cosmic computer running a program that generates the illusion of physical reality. This is where quantum mechanics becomes truly bizarre. In the quantum world, particles don't have definite properties until they're observed. An electron doesn't have a definite position or momentum until you measure it. Before measurement, it exists in a superposition of all possible states. The act of observation doesn't just reveal pre-existing properties, it actually creates those properties. The double-slit experiment demonstrates this perfectly. Send single photons through two slits, and they interfere with themselves, creating wave patterns. But place a detector to see which slit each photon goes through, and the wave pattern disappears. The photons start behaving like particles. The universe literally changes its behavior based on what you choose to observe. This suggests that reality is not objective in the way we assume. The properties of quantum systems depend on how they're observed. Different measurement setups reveal different aspects of reality. There's no single objective description that captures all possible measurements. Reality is contextual, observer-dependent, relational. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics go even further. World's interpretation suggests that every quantum measurement creates multiple parallel realities, one for each possible outcome. Right now, there might be countless versions of you in parallel universes, experiencing slightly different versions of this moment. Every quantum event splits reality into multiple branches, creating an ever-expanding multiverse of possibilities. In this view, the reality you experience is just one branch of an unimaginably vast tree of possibilities. Every decision you didn't make, every quantum event that could have gone differently, all of these create other realities where other versions of you continue to exist. You reading this is just one instance of your quantum identity spread across multiple worlds. But even if we reject the many worlds interpretation, quantum mechanics still tells us something profound about the nature of reality. The universe is not a collection of independent objects with definite properties. It's a web of relationships, correlations, and information exchanges. Quantum entanglement demonstrates that distant particles can be instantly correlated in ways that seem to violate the speed of light limit, suggesting that reality is non-local, that things can be connected in ways that transcend space and time. This non-locality extends to the very structure of space-time itself. Einstein's general relativity shows that space and time are not fixed backgrounds, but dynamic, flexible entities that bend and warp in response to matter and energy. What you experience as the stable stage on which physics plays out is actually more like a fluid constantly changing its shape. At the smallest scales, quantum fluctuations cause space-time itself to foam and fluctuate. The smooth, continuous space you experience emerges from an underlying quantum foam of appearing and disappearing virtual particles. Even empty space is seething with activity, filled with quantum fields that constantly create and destroy particle pairs. And at the largest scale, space-time is expanding, carrying distant galaxies away from us faster than light. The universe itself is growing, creating new space between objects. The cosmic horizon, the edge of the observable universe, is constantly expanding, revealing new regions that were previously beyond our causal reach. This expansion suggests something even more profound about the nature of reality. If the universe is expanding from an initial Big Bang, then going backward in time, everything we observe was once compressed into an infinitesimally small point. All the matter and energy in the observable universe, including the space-time that contains it, emerged from a quantum fluctuation smaller than a subatomic particle. But the Big Bang wasn't an explosion in space, it was the creation of space itself. There was no before the Big Bang in any meaningful sense, because time itself began with the universe. The question, what caused the Big Bang, doesn't make sense because causation requires time, and time started with the event it's supposed to explain. This raises mind-bending questions about the nature of existence. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why does the universe have the particular laws of physics it has? Why are the fundamental constants finally tuned to allow for the existence of stars, planets, and life? Some physicists propose that our universe is just one of countless others in an infinite multiverse, each with different laws and constants. We exist in this particular universe not because it's special, but because it's one of the rare ones where beings like us can evolve to ask these questions. The anthropic principle suggests that we observe a life-friendly universe simply because we couldn't exist in any other kind. But even this multiverse might be an approximation, an emergent description of something more fundamental. String theory suggests that all particles and forces arise from tiny vibrating strings in multiple dimensions, most of which are curled up so small we can't perceive them. The reality you experience might be a low-dimensional shadow of a higher-dimensional string landscape. Or perhaps reality is computational, as some theorists propose. The universe might be running on a vast cosmic computer. With the laws of physics as software and quantum states as data, every particle interaction could be a computation, every physical process an algorithm. You might literally be a pattern of information processing, a subroutine in the universe's program. These aren't just abstract philosophical speculations. They have implications for how you understand your place in reality. If consciousness is an emergent property of information processing, then you're not separate from the universe observing it from outside. You're a part of the universe becoming aware of itself. Your thoughts and observations are the universe thinking about itself. The boundaries between observer and observed, between mind and matter, between self and cosmos, all of these apparently clear distinctions dissolve when you look closely enough. You are not in the universe, you are the universe, at least a small part of it, organized in such a way as to experience itself subjectively. This means that every time you observe something, you're participating in the creation of reality. Your consciousness doesn't just passively receive information about the world, it actively participates in bringing the world into being. The universe, without observers, would be a very different place, perhaps not even meaningful to talk about. But here's what might be the most unsettling realization of all. Science itself might be an approximation, useful tool for making predictions and controlling our environment, but not necessarily a description of ultimate reality. Every scientific theory, no matter how successful, is a model, simplified representation that captures some aspects of reality while ignoring others. Even our most fundamental theories, quantum mechanics and general relativity, are known to be incomplete, contradict each other in extreme conditions like black hole interiors, or the first moments after the Big Bang. We're still searching for a theory of quantum gravity that can reconcile them, and we don't know what surprises that theory might contain. The reality you think you understand through science might be like the shadows on the wall in Plato's cave allegory. What we call the physical world might be just a projection of something more fundamental that we can't directly perceive. Our scientific instruments and mathematical formulas might be showing us patterns in the shadows without revealing the true nature of what's casting them. This doesn't mean science is wrong or useless. Science works incredibly well for making predictions and building technology, but it might not be telling us what reality actually is, only how it behaves under certain conditions from certain perspectives. The universe might be stranger than we can suppose. There might be aspects of reality so fundamentally different from anything in our experience that we literally can't conceive of them. Our brains evolved to survive in a middle-sized world at moderate speeds, and our intuitions about reality are calibrated to that environment. When we probe the very large or very small, the very fast or very slow, we encounter phenomena that violate every intuition we have about how things should work. Quantum superposition, space-time curvature, non-locality, the relativity of simultaneity, all of these violate our common sense understanding of reality. Maybe common sense is the problem. Maybe our everyday experience of reality is so removed from the fundamental nature of existence that it's actually misleading us. The solid, predictable, classical world we think we inhabit might be a useful fiction created by our brains to help us navigate a quantum, relativistic, information processing universe that would overwhelm us if we experienced it directly. So what does this mean for how you should think about your life, your decisions, your place in the universe? If reality is not what it seems, if the self is an illusion, if the present moment doesn't exist, if free will is questionable, does anything matter? I think it matters more, not less. If you're a temporary pattern of information processing in a vast cosmic computation, then you're participating in something unimaginably profound. If your consciousness is the universe becoming aware of itself, then every thought you have, every observation you make, moment of awareness you experience is part of the cosmos, understanding its own nature. The fact that reality might be stranger than we can imagine doesn't diminish your experience of it. It makes it more precious. You're not just a collection of atoms arranged in a complex pattern. You're a way for the universe to know itself, to experience beauty and wonder and curiosity about its own existence. The illusions that define your everyday experience time, matter, consciousness, self, these aren't obstacles to truth. They're emergent phenomena that arise from deeper realities, and they're real at their own level of description. The fact that your consciousness is constructed doesn't make your experience any less valid. The fact that matter is mostly empty space doesn't make the chair you're sitting on any less solid for practical purposes. Reality operates at multiple levels of description, and each level has its own validity within its domain. Classical physics works perfectly well for building bridges and launching rockets. Quantum mechanics is necessary for understanding atoms and designing computers. Relativity is essential for GPS satellites and understanding black holes. The key insight is that none of these descriptions is complete or fundamental. They're all approximations, useful ways of organizing our experience and making predictions, but not ultimate truths about the nature of reality. The universe is too rich, too complex, too strange to be captured by any single description. This should be liberating rather than disturbing. It means reality is far more interesting than you imagined. It means there are always deeper levels to explore, always new perspectives to discover, always more mystery to uncover. The universe is not a clockwork mechanism running predictably according to fixed laws. It's a dynamic, creative information processing system that's constantly generating new possibilities. You are part of this creative process. Every choice you make, every observation you perform, every moment of consciousness you experience is contributing to the universe's ongoing self-discovery. You're not separate from reality, observing it from outside. You are reality, experiencing itself from within. The next time you look at the world around you, remember that what you're seeing is not what's really there. You're seeing a construction created by your brain based on limited sensory input, shaped by evolutionary pressures, interpreted through conceptual frameworks that might be fundamentally inadequate for understanding the true nature of existence. But don't let this discourage you. Let it inspire a sense of wonder and humility. The fact that reality is stranger than you think means there's always more to discover, always deeper truths to uncover, always new ways of understanding your place in the cosmic mystery. The universe has spent 13.8 billion years evolving the complexity necessary to produce beings capable of questioning their own existence. You are the universe's way of asking, what am I? The fact that the answer turns out to be far stranger and more wonderful than anyone imagined is perhaps the most beautiful truth of all. Reality is not what you think it is. It's far more mysterious, far more profound, far more amazing than anything you could have imagined, and you are not separate from this mystery. You are part of it, experiencing it from the inside, helping to create it through the very act of observation and consciousness. That might be the most extraordinary fact about reality. Not just that it exists, but that it has evolved beings capable of wondering about its own existence. In questioning the nature of reality, you're participating in the universe's attempt to understand itself. And that makes every moment of consciousness, every spark of curiosity, every question about the nature of existence a profound contribution to the cosmic project of self-understanding. The reality you think you know is just the beginning. The actual reality is far stranger, far more beautiful, and far more mysterious than you ever dared imagine. And you're not just observing this cosmic mystery from the outside. You are part of it, living it from within, helping to create it through the very act of being conscious. Welcome to the real universe. It's weirder than you think.